Thank you. Yeah, the shorthand of that is I go to places and attempt to make them a little less shit than they are. And it's interesting being in Dundee at the moment that's currently trying to smoke a huge amount of cultural crack in an effort to make itself a little less shit. And you're doing like all of the things that you can do to try and make yourself a bit better. This is a picture of me trying to gentrify a small town in Ayrshire. And this is probably a picture of my grandmother on the beach in Blackpool. And Blackpool is a place that is also trying to make itself quite a bit less shit. And my parents were in Blackpool, and an angel kind of floated down from the top of that tower there and gave them this vision of the future. And so, and for quite a while, Blackpool thought that this was a good way to maybe make itself a little less shit, and it would get people with booze and no clothes and stuff to come and have a good time and have a party, and that'd help the economy. And that's one way of doing it. But my parents said, no, we want a better future for our children, and we're not going to be a part of that nastiness. And sometimes people don't want to stick around and make the place that they live in better. Sometimes they just get the hell out while they can. And so they headed a bit further south down the road to a place called Preston. And Preston is an interesting place because it's also a little bit shit, and this is where I was born. And one of the great things about Preston, it was the first place to have a motorway, the Preston bypass. So it was the first place that anyone wanted to bypass, and they spent quite an exceptional amount of money inventing a thing called the motorway so you could get past it at speed. Also, from a cuisine point of view, it was quite revolutionary as a place, being the first place in the UK to have a KFC, and that kind of set me on my own culinary adventures in life, without any shadow of a doubt, with a preference for the Colonel's special blend of 11 herbs and spices. The other thing that Preston is really, really proud of is this elk as well. And whenever I go back to Preston, I always go and visit the elk and say hello to elk. Officially, it's not even from Preston. It's from a little place called Poulton, just outside Preston. But we have claimed it as our own in a desperate attempt to have some form of archaeological heritage. We tried to build some big stuff to be better, like you guys are doing. You got a museum coming and all. That's very exciting. And when that didn't work, we said, we've already got something. It's all right. This bus station looks pretty cool. So we kind of put together quite a campaign to save the bus station. I didn't know it was cool. When I was young, I just used to go to Top Trends to get my hair cut, and that was my main experience of Preston bus station. But 7 or 8 years of an architectural education has made me realise just how damn fine it is, and I'm keen to save it. This was also my primary school, and this was another kind of retrospective post-rationalisation experience of why I might be an architect. Because on my first day of education, I walked into this thing called the bubble, which isn't actually a bubble, but no one in Preston knew how to say geodesic dome or something, whatever it was, so they just said bubble. But Preston did not hold me back despite its relative shitness as a place. And this is me winning Young Archaeologist of the Year in 1991, being photographed for the Lancashire Evening in Post. And I won the award. I did not steal anyone's Christmas presents. Or maybe I'm holding the Christmas presents I stole. One of the things that stops people, we're finding in Glasgow, I teach at the Mackintosh School of Architecture, and we bring a load of talent there, and we teach that talent how to do architecture, and then they all run away to London, usually. But now, places like Dundee, Preston, they've got something going for them. They're actually cheap places to live. But there's a danger in kind of trying to make everything better, because things like this start to happen, and you start to attract beards, and quinoa, and kale, and you're going to see more beards in this room year on year as you start to culture the fuck out of Dundee, and then you get a backlash. And this is a beard here who just tried to sell ricicles to hipsters in Shoreditch, and people tried to smash his shop in. And this is coming to Dundee if you're not careful. This is the future. You're all going to try. When I was growing up, there was coffee and there was tea. That was it, right? They want flat whites and Italian sounding things. The world's gone mad. This is some actual shit. I've tried to make less shit. This is a dog shit bin in Kirkcaldy that I spray painted gold. And in all seriousness, I'm a big fan of trying to find the simple act to make things better. And quite a lot of the time, I'm not interested in being invited to make these acts. And whether it's myself spray painting something gold to make a statement about the nature of a place, or bringing people in a community together to make something, I'm really interested in people's ideas and agency, and how even when all of the big stuff is happening around a place to try and make it better, there's still small ways and small actions that everyone can get involved in to try and feel like their own ideas are supported through someone facilitating their agency. And some of the work that I do does that in quite a visceral way, whether it's putting a drill into the hands of a young child and teaching them how to make something, or in an area that's crying out for a swimming pool, saying you don't have to wait for £7 million and 4 or 5 years to actually go out and swim. You know, we can do that with hay bales, and we can do that with plastic sheeting, and we can break open a fire hydrant, and you can live your dreams in that way. And some shameless plug-in. Another way that I do that is recently organised an architectural art design urbanism summer school called Test Unit that runs in Glasgow. We did the first one last year, and it will run again this year. And if anyone with an interest in the built environment wants to try and do something about it, you can get involved in that. And the other thing is the Architecture Fringe Festival, which again is a kind of mechanism for people to have ideas and agency, and to find a platform to actually test ideas, communicate ideas, and find their own place in society and their own place in making it kind of a better thing for everyone. Thank you. Cheers.